This is today's Bible reading. This is book of 1 Samuel chapter 12, Samuel's address at Saul's coronation. Now Samuel said to all Israel, "Indeed, I have heeded your voice in all that you have said to me, and I have made a king over you. And now here is the king, walking before you, and I am old and gray-headed. And look, my sons are with you. I have walked before you from my childhood to this day. Here I am, witness against me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Or whose donkey have I taken? Or whom have I cheated? Whom have I oppressed? Or from whose hand have I received any bribe with which to blind my eyes? I'll restore it to you." And they said, "You've not cheated us or oppressed us, nor have you taken anything from any man's hand." Then he said to them, "The Lord is a witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day, that you have not found anything in my hand." And they answered, "He is witness." Then Samuel said to the people, "It is the Lord who raised up Moses and Aaron, and who brought your fathers up from the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may reason with you before the Lord concerning all the righteous acts of the Lord, which he did to you and your fathers. When Jacob had gone into Egypt, and your fathers cried out to the Lord, then the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your fathers out of Egypt, and made them dwell in this place. And when they forget the Lord their God, he sold them into the hand of Sisera, commander of the army of Hazor, into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. Then they cried out to the Lord and said, "We've sinned, because we have forsaken the Lord and served the Baals and Ashtoreth. But now deliver us from the hand of our enemies, and we will serve you." And the Lord sent Jerubbaal, Bedan, Jephthah, and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hand of your enemies on every side, and you dwelt in safety. And when you saw that Nahash, king of the Ammonites, came against you, you said to me, "No, but a king shall reign over us," when the Lord your God was your king. Now therefore he is the king whom you have chosen and whom you have desired. And take note, the Lord has set a king over you. If you fear the Lord and serve him and obey his voice, and do not rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then both you and the king who reigns over you will continue following the Lord your God. However, if you do not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then the hand of the Lord will be against you, as it was against your fathers. Now therefore, stand and see this great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. Is today not the wheat harvest? I will call to the Lord, and he will send thunder and rain, that you may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of the Lord, in asking a king for yourselves. So Samuel called to the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day. And all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said to Samuel, "Pray for your servants to the Lord your God, that we may not die. For we have added to all our sins the evil of asking a king for ourselves." Then Samuel said to the people, "Do not fear. You've done all this wickedness, yet do not turn aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart, and do not turn aside, for then you would go after empty things which cannot profit or deliver, for they are nothing. For the Lord will not forsake his people, for his great name's sake, because it has pleased the Lord to make you his people. Moreover, as for me, far be it from me that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you, but I will teach you but the good and the right way. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider what great things he has done for you. But if you still do wickedly, you shall be swept away, both you and your king." Transition: when did Saul become king? The Hebrew text of 1 Samuel 13:1 is in disarray. It says that Saul was a year old when he began to reign and reigned for 2 years. The translators of the NKJV have made a plausible surmise at what the original may have been in 13:1. Unfortunately, we do not know how old Saul was when he began to reign, nor in what year he became king. In Antioch, Paul preached a sermon in which he appeared to Israel's history. He comments that Saul was king for 40 years, a number mentioned also by the Jewish historian Josephus. Some accept this number as the length of Saul's reign, and counting backward 40 years from the supposed date when David became king, place Saul's coronation in 1050 BC. Other scholars understand the 40 years of Acts 13:21 to be a symbolic round number, representing one generation. Rather than 40 years, they suggest a much shorter reign to allow time for the several military campaigns waged by Saul. A reign of at least 10 years is supposed, and Saul's coronation is arbitrarily placed at about 1020 BC. Now, book of 1 Samuel chapter 13, Saul's unlawful sacrifice. Saul reigned 1 year, and when he had reigned 2 years over Israel, Saul chose for himself 3,000 men of Israel. 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and in the mountains of Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan in Gibeah of Benjamin. The rest of the people he sent away, every man to his tent. And Jonathan attacked the garrison of the Philistines that was in Geba. And the Philistines heard of it. Then Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, "Let the Hebrews hear." Now all Israel heard it, said that Saul had attacked a garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel had also become an abomination to the Philistines. And the people were called together to Saul at Gilgal. Then the Philistines gathered together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand, which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up and encamped in Michmash, to the east of Beth-aven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in danger, for the people were distressed, then the people hid in caves, in thickets, in rocks, in holes, and in pits. And some of the Hebrews crossed over the Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Saul, he was still in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. Then he waited 7 days, according to the time set by Samuel. But Samuel did not come to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. So Saul said, "Bring a burnt offering and peace offerings here to me." And he offered the burnt offering. Now it happened, as soon as he had finished presenting the burnt offering, that Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him, that he might greet him. And Samuel said, "What have you done?" Saul said, "When I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that you did not come within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered together at Michmash, then I said, the Philistines will now come down on me at Gilgal, and I have not made supplication to the Lord. Therefore I felt compelled and offered a burnt offering." And Samuel said to Saul, "You've done foolishly. You've not kept the commandment of the Lord your God, which he commanded you, for now the Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever. But now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought for himself a man after his own heart, and the Lord has commanded him to be commander over his people, because you have not kept what the Lord commanded you." Then Samuel arose and went up from Gilgal to Gibeah of Benjamin, and Saul numbered the people present with him, about 600 men. No weapons for the army. Saul, Jonathan his son, and the people present with them remained in Gibeah of Benjamin. But the Philistines encamped at Michmash. Then raiders came out of the camp of the Philistines in 3 companies. One company turned unto the road to Ophrah, to the land of Shual. Another company turned to the road to Beth Horon, and another company turned to the road of the border that overlooks the valley of Zeboim toward the wilderness. Now there was no blacksmith to be found throughout all the land of Israel, for the Philistines said, "Lest the Hebrews make swords or spears." But all the Israelites would go down to the Philistines to sharpen each man's plowshare, his mattock, his axe, and his sickle. And the charge for sharpening was a pim for the plowshares, the mattocks, the forks, and the axes, and to set the points of the goads. So it came about on the day of battle that there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people who were with Saul and Jonathan. But they were found with Saul and Jonathan his son, and the garrison of the Philistines went out to the pass of Michmash. From copper to bronze to iron. 1 Samuel 13:19-22. The first metals used by humans were gold, silver, and copper. Gold and silver were too soft to be used for tools or weapons. Copper in its native form is also soft, although it was hammered into a harder form. However, sometime around 3500 BC, ancient metal workers discovered that copper hardened when alloyed with tin to produce bronze or with zinc to produce brass. The harder bronze was not only a better metal for producing tools, but also resulted in more effective weapons. During the early Bronze Age, from about 2300 BC, bronze swords and axe heads were produced by bronze workers with increasing skill. Bronze instruments of warfare, such as the spear, the bow, and shield, were still in use at the time of Israel's monarchy. The next advance in metal technology came with the discovery of smelting to separate iron from its oxides. The iron-working process, which required fuel and heat, was slow to develop. Before 1200 BC, iron was used mostly for jewelry and ceremonial weapons. However, there are a few examples of military use. An Akkadian text from Nuzi in northern Mesopotamia, dating from about the 15th century BC, gives evidence of a coat of scale armor using iron scales made for a horse. When the Israelites first arrived in Canaan, they were faced with the superiority of their opponents' iron-reinforced chariots. Ironworking demanded the skill of a blacksmith. A letter of the Hittite king Hattusili III, dating around 1250 BC, shows that the Hittites had developed skills in the production of smelted iron. When Saul became Israel's king, Philistine ironsmiths were able to control the actual working of iron in Canaan. They would sharpen the Hebrews' iron tools, but would not teach them to make swords or spears of iron. Amen. This is the end of the Bible reading today. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. God bless you. And see you tomorrow again.